Hello, future viewers. Welcome back to Gratuitous Space Battles. I am Regdrin. How are you doing?
I'm Stone of Triumph and my gamer fuel is water.
Yeah, mine too. Well, that's not the only thing involved, but it's mostly water. Okay, let's take a look at the next battle. We are still playing as the Swarm, although that'll change next time.
And next we are fighting...
The Rebels.
This is a huge battle.
This is a huge battle, but the map size is still medium. In fact, it's pretty small compared to the amount of stuff we have to do. Like, see, I've barely spent half of my stuff so far, and it's already taking a whole lot of space.
Let's get him.
Yeah, let's get him, but I want to adjust my fleet, because in this map they send a whole bunch of rocket fighters over to attack your frigates. The initial thing that I considered was what I'm doing right now is to
not bring any frigates.
Because cruisers tend to repel rocket fire pretty darn well. But, I mean, that is the thing that makes sense, which a sane person would use. What I did was give my frigates enough armor to repel rocket hits, at least for a while.
Oh, okay.
So let's bring some tractor frigates, because we do still need to get rid of those fighters.
Yeah, even if they can't get through armor at the start, that can change.
Yes, lucky shots are a thing that deal damage to armor regardless of how hard it repels that stuff. Although there is no such thing as a lucky shot through shields.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
There isn't.
There isn't. That's too much science for luck to be a factor. Now, armor is expensive, as I believe I mentioned, which means that these frigates are also more expensive. I probably wouldn't get away with what I'm doing here if I was any other faction than the Swarm, although maybe the Alliance because of their armor boosts, but I'm not even sure about that, actually.
Well, I've seen things.
You've seen things that I wouldn't believe.
Yeah, remember I play challenges.
Well, I wonder how much I can shave off of other stuff now that I'm adding frigates. Probably not too much of the front line, but maybe I can trim off a little bit of the back line, because plasma frigates, well, you know, they're pretty nice a lot of the time.
Okie doke.
Okie doke. I should just select mass deploy, because, especially on this map, mass deployment is a thing. Alright, and let's trim off a few of these fighters. The thing is, although dealing with all of those rocket fighters is annoying and requires some resources and some design changes for me to do that sort of thing, I still am not too upset about it, because I think, as we've established before, one squadron of rocket fighters costs roughly as much as a cruiser.
Depends on how you build them.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at these rocket fighters. The cost went up. Let's see.
1,300.
No, I think it's a bit more than 1,300. More like 1,600.
Oh yeah.
No, wait. It went. Yeah, well, I'll do the calculations later. Anyway, swarm rocket. Remember, swarm rocket fighters being a swarm ship have a lowered cost. Rebel fighters don't have that bonus, although they have other nice things.
Okay.
And let's see, I think this is a good place to start. We'll see how this goes.
And
Also, see that backline
Yeah,
here?
those are all missile cruisers.
Yeah, there's a lot of missile cruisers. I went to the trouble of giving my frontliners an extra scrambler for all those missiles.
Who knows, that may actually be enough.
Who knows?
Well, let's do it.
Yes, let's go. One of the unfortunate things is that I had to remove a couple of perks on my frigates, especially the beam frigates. I couldn't fit 4 beam lasers on them anymore, so I put an EMP missile in the back and hoped that that would help a bit. Anyway. The people who designed these rocket fighters knew how they were done because they are pretty fast and also have armor. And those are indeed the strengths of rocket fighters when they're done right.
Mm-hmm. Well, looks like your frigates are taking some hits anyway.
Yeah, though it's not nearly as bad as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And fast as they are, they don't stay that way when they're near those tractor frigates.
However long the tractor frigates last, anyway.
They seem to be targeting them specifically, which is actually kind of good news for me because they won't really contribute much to the battle afterwards. Looks like they're pretty much gone now. Well, okay, actually the lower side still has to deal with a fair number of them. I guess that's just kind of the angle that they came in. I wonder if there are any anti-fighters mixed in with them.
I don't think there are. So,
and we got the cruiser versus cruiser. Why can't I pronounce things today?
Because you are a puppet.
Looks like I've still got some plasma frigate backline here, which is nice.
Yep.
And on this side, looks like I've still got some of that as well as beam frigate power here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that at least a couple of my tractor frigates survived, though, because we still got more enemy fires attached to these ships. Man, I wonder how much bigger their fleet could have been if they didn't spend quite so much on those fighters.
Yeah.
Well, up on this side, looks like there's a bunch of rebel plasma cruisers here.
Yep.
Along with the usual beam laser stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, looks like we're dealing with those, all of those missiles right now. That's probably gonna be ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, we're closing in on them, and once we remove missile critical mass, we should be okay, maybe.
Yeah, one of the things about those Rebel missile cruisers is that they also have target painters on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, although my cruisers are not especially evasive. And yep, we got the first couple, and we're starting to wrap up the flank right here. So that's the biggest threat pretty much dealt with here.
Mm-hmm.
And we also got rid of the leftovers at the bottom. Let's see how the top was doing, because that seemed a little shaky.
No, they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. I think there were at least a couple of anti-fighters in there because all of mine seem to be gone. So once again, it seems like a pretty good thing that I got the tractor beams here.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, I'll be able to survive long enough to pulverize the last of these cruisers here. Doesn't look like they can hurt me too much. Uh-oh, looks like one of our beamers took a couple of too many lucky shots. Oh well.
Yeah, that's always a risk. Well, looks like you got it.
Yep. Also, since this map is huge, you can also get huge honor if you're willing to play that game and lowball it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's think about how to deal with expert.
Well, do you even know what's there?
Good question, but I also am thinking about what problems my formation might have to deal with right now. I think having this pulse cruiser just sort of hanging out all the way down here is not great formation. So maybe this will work out a little better.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Oh, yeah. Okay, for a moment, for whatever reason, I thought I might not have... Oh, here they are. That's a lot of fighter squadrons right there.
Mm-hmm.
I count more than 12 of them.
Yep. I think you'll be fine.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
And, yep, those are rockets, alright. Well, some of them might be torpedoes. That's too bad for them.
No, they're rockets.
They're rockets.
They're not penetrating shields. Well, cruiser shields, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, torpedoes can penetrate cruiser shields for sure. The problem is not getting destroyed before they enter range. I think there are some anti-fighters mixed in with these groups, by the way.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, some of my fighters are getting shot down for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that just makes the tractor beams more important.
Oh, there are the torpedo fighters.
Oh yeah, there they are. Well, guidance scramblers work on those too, and they don't have decoys, so, you know... And they get hit by pulse lasers, and you don't want to... Well, okay, cruiser lasers. I always keep calling them that, because the game does in their description. Seriously, game.
Figure it out. Get with it, game designers.
Alright, so, that was... It's not often that I do the very start of the battle at default speed, but that seemed important enough. Anyway, even if those fighters might stick around for a little while longer, it seems like they actually aren't taking out any of my frigates early this time.
Huh.
Well, I guess...
I don't think there were as many rocket fighters this time.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you lose purity of purpose, or whatever you call it. Well, and as usual, the frigate that dashes in first...
Gets blowed up.
Gets blowed up the earliest, yes. Now, one of the reasons that EMP guns work so well when combined with missile cruisers is that those scrambler beams also count as weapons, so an EMP'd cruiser cannot really defend itself against those missiles. So this is actually a lineup that works pretty well. I am starting to put down the damage on them as well, and with all my frigates intact, I'm fairly confident that I have the DPS to deal with it. Still looks a little scary, though. Actually, it looks a lot scary, but it looks like these cruisers here aren't really close enough to contribute yet.
Or they're shooting at something else.
Well, at the worst, my top line may crumble, but it looks like I'm dealing with these guys without too many losses, so I should be able to... well, okay, what I'm hoping is that they will turn around and deal with the top half. I'm really hoping that because things are not looking too good up here.
Yeah, well, you have plenty of ships left.
I guess. I mean, this is the swarm method, after all.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you've taken out anything relevant.
And, yep, looks like they're starting to turn around and head up, although, unfortunately, the frigates, being faster, have gotten there first.
They are very brave.
They are very brave, yes. Let us give them a salute. As usual, it'll be the plasma frigates that survive. Although the beam frigates did have the chance to deal plenty of damage first, which is the important part, I guess. So how do the numbers look? The hit points are just about even, actually. On the other hand, I think we're kind of getting the first strike on them, which is nice.
Yeah, because you have missiles.
Well, so do they, but... Looks like... Well, they don't seem to have missile defenses. In fact, running into strong enemy missile defenses is really rare in these scenarios. That might be why I can get away with the design that I do.
Yeah, the thing is, the DLC packs tend to have tougher AI scenarios.
Oh, good. That way we might have more interesting builds on our side as well, once I figure out what I need to do. And looks like our last few frigates are closing in as well. We've been shooting plasma at them pretty reliably all this time.
Yeah, like I said, you're fine.
Yeah, but I wasn't really sure whether that was sarcastic or not.
Trust me, I've played this game a lot.
Okay, fair enough. So if I was gonna do something differently... Well, as I said, the most optimal thing is to not bring frigates at all to make the enemy's fighter swarms not really effective. But I like using frigates. I think they're fun.
Well, you did it.
I did it. Well, to be fair, our fighters did get shut down fairly early. But I wonder why the EMP missile launcher is always our least effective weapon. It didn't look like they were shooting down missiles. Maybe they're just inaccurate?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far. I just don't think...
Yeah?
Well, they may have had enough missile defense to turn those back.
Maybe. I didn't really see much. I'll take the game's word for it. Well, now that that's done, let's get our word from our sponsors. This one is Bubble Tech. The bubble is not with our stock, it's with the technology we promise. Well, our first advertisement is the Shield Generator Level 2.
Correct.
Go for it.
In large fleet engagements, someone always brings along some stupidly huge beam laser, and if you really want to ruin their fun, you will be needing some of these. Shield generators. Turning back the tide.
Not guaranteed to turn back the tide if the swarm is involved. They call themselves the Tide a lot, and, well... you should buy our armor package as well, is what we're saying. Now, that's one size of shield. Now, let's take a look at my personal favorite type of shield, which is a frigate type. And that is the turbo shields. These aren't just ordinary shields. These are the high-powered, sleek-designed turbo shields for the frigate captain who is everything except turbo shields, because you're worth it. Now, notice there are some things he didn't mention, such as shield strength, or resistance, or recharge rate. That's because it doesn't really have any of those. It's an expensive ornament compared to the more standard shields. It's a ripoff, in short.
Ah.
But I think it's perfectly in keeping with this game to have some ripoff items that are spoken very highly of and non-specifically in the advertisements.
Correct.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. We will be back with a new faction next time.
Correct.
See you then.
Mm-hmm.